So you want me to lead you in with the jingle?
We're entering our flop era.
Shit's bleak out here. All right.
18 plus, who wants to get milked?
It's kind of quality we have here. Debate this.
I need the edge. I need what the raw, unfiltered internet can bring you.
This is probably only going to be the third or fourth dumbest thing I've said today.
That's for nobody.
Just out there raw dogging the internet.
Way more hog than I expected.
It's about as much hog as I anticipated.
This is going to be one of those episodes, isn't it?
Here comes the cow. Here comes the cow.
All right, let's get this over with so we can play Magic.
Hello and welcome to Debate This, the show where no one is right, but someone is definitely wrong. In this show, we take time out of our busy adult lives to talk about comic books, video games, and how for 48 hours we were all content enough with the $450 sticker price for the Switch 2, and then nothing else happened after that.
Yeah, weird how slow of a news week it's been.
Been insanely
And we all lived
slow.
happily ever after.
Mm-hmm.
I am not as upset about the $80 games announcement as
Yeah.
the rest of the internet, it seems.
Internet's
This felt
pretty mad.
Yeah.
It felt inevitable. Like, even pre-tariffs, it just felt like we were trending towards $100 AAA
Yeah.
titles anyway.
Yeah.
Well, you got to figure when you think about it too, because we were having this conversation off recording earlier. So they normalized. I think it was like the GameCube era is what we said.
Yeah.
Maybe
No,
was like they normalized the $50 price tag for
prior to
all
that.
games.
Yeah.
Prior to that, but like I remember Super Mario RPG being like $65 for a cartridge in 1997.
I was thinking about it, and I remembered Game Boy games, GBA games being
Yeah.
35, and then like Pokemon was 40.
Yep, and that's Game Boy that's why everyone had one because it was
Yeah.
made to be cheaper. So
And
that
then
tracks.
somewhere it trended up to every 3DS games hit 50 at some point, and
Yeah.
that was after Wii games had been $50 forever.
Right. And well, that was the thing. And it wasn't the $50 price tag was like the standard for a long time.
Yeah.
Like pretty much until what, like PS4?
Yeah,
I wanna
PS4
say.
era and Xbox
So-
One era took us up to 60.
Yeah. It sucks because like it's just like this is the clearest form of inflation, but like it's also a long time coming.
If you think back to 2 years ago during the writer's strike, or when dev studios were unionizing, everyone was saying like, "Oh, I'd happily pay $80 to $100 a game if it
put
meant
your money
anything."
where your mouth is, dorks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
Exactly.
non-unionized studios are going to sell their games for that much too, and yada yada. But like, it just felt like we were headed this.
Yeah.
We were going to get here eventually. And yes, $80 games suck. So does everything else.
Anyway,
Boy, howdy.
Eat Arby's.
hopefully when you listen to this episode, you'll be able to get a Switch in America.
Right.
Yay!
The best is that seeing the memes where people are like, Rockstar planning to drop $100+ version of GTA 6, looking at people complain about an $80 Mario Kart, and it's
Yeah.
like the Matthew McConaughey like smoking aggressively meme.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you can tell by the timing of this discussion that recently Nintendo dropped more details on the Switch 2 in honestly, like outside of any sort of bit, what was an actually incredible Nintendo Direct, probably one of the
Especially after their fake out Nintendo Direct.
It feels like they've been banking bad ones, knowing the
Yeah.
Switch 2 Direct
Yeah.
was going to be a good one.
Yeah, they needed 3 wet farts to get a good one in there.
Well, and I was not completely sold on the idea of the Switch 2. Like, happy with my Switch, really
Yeah,
don't
same.
play it unless I'm playing Overwatch 2 with my good friend Matt.
There it is.
I had no real interest in getting a Switch 2, and then I saw the Direct, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, this is going to be a really good system.
It's going to be a great system. Even the Wii U was a great system. It always comes down to what games they have. And like,
Yeah.
if you want to play Nintendo games, you got to get a Nintendo machine.
Yeah.
I know this doesn't mean anything to Todd, but Matt and Kyle, since you both had them, did you get big Wii U vibes from the Switch 2 preview? Because I sure did.
A little bit. It could
Yeah.
fall either way. I think
Yeah.
the Switch is a more popular, is like a better system than
Yes.
the Wii was. And like an upgraded Switch
A little more universal, yeah.
is something that will sell when the right game hits.
yeah.
It was when they announced Elden Ring, it was like, oh, this is the third 2022 era AAA game that they're re-releasing. And like exactly what they did with Wii U is like, you can now play Arkham Asylum on the Wii U. It's like, thanks.
Great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
in case you made it to 2025 without playing that game,
Yeah.
Okay.
maybe now you do.
This isn't what we're doing right now, and it might be what we're doing in the post show, but like as the big Nintendo guy, I was pretty underwhelmed by the Switch 2, and it is honestly like the least excited I think I've been for a Nintendo console in a hot minute.
That is a brave
I would
take.
love to unpack. I would love to unpack that, and the fact that you get to call yourself the Nintendo guy.
Yeah, I also
on this
I wanna
podcast that
unpack
we exclusively talk
let's
about
go.
Mario and Pokemon and Zelda.
Let's put that. We're gonna put that in a corner.
No, we're
Yeah.
fighting about this now.
No, that's actually a bigger debate than what the hell
Yeah.
we're talking about today.
Okay. When's the last time you played a Nintendo console?
All right, everyone.
Literally
An hour ago,
yesterday.
Matt.
Yeah, 20. It's been less than 15 minutes. for
Matt,
me.
name 2 games that you play on your Switch that aren't Overwatch 2.
Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Manifold
Nope.
Garden.
I don't believe you.
I've played
I
both
believe
of
you on
those recently.
Chicken Shoot has entered the chat.
No, that's for the
Chicken
Wii.
Sheet is
All right, we're not doing this right now. Save it for the post show.
Okay.
Talking about that direct though for a minute here. That direct, we were treated to a number of new games and just like very good system upgrades, and not the least of which are the upgrades for Switch 2 having a new iToy. So you can, the way I've described it, cast yourself with your video game as a Zoom background.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
looks fun.
It's an Xbox Kinect. We got another Xbox Kinect.
I having just packed mine up.
No, I think I like Nintendo Zoom. I like
Nintendo
that.
Zoom.
I'm living through another economic downturn, and a games console has added a camera as a feature.
Yeah.
It is 2025. It is 2008.
And maybe the best new thing they're doing, and what I'm most excited for, is the ability to use the Switch's Joy-Cons as a mouse or multiple mice. You can dual wield mices.
I love that Nintendo found a way to do mouse and keyboard for a console.
Yeah.
And like,
Who would have thought?
yeah, it's insane. And it's so cool.
Yeah, and it looks
Literally
looks good.
nobody asked for it, and I'm so pumped.
Me
Yeah.
too.
You can play RTSs on your Switch too.
I
Listen,
mean-
for all of us that tried to play Halo Wars, we're thrilled. We're thrilled
Yeah,
for this,
yeah.
all 5 of us.
I can't wait for Mario Paint 2.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Do we think we're gonna get a real time Fire Emblem? Real time Fire Emblem?
Oh shit, Kyle. You just cracked this thing wide open.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god, you just cracked this wide open. Okay, wait, we gotta do the episode. We gotta do the episode.
With these new and exciting upgrades on the horizon, Debate This's Department of Innovative Game Design, or as I call it, DT Digdy, is looking for games
down.
to relaunch on Switch 2 that use some of these new and exciting features. So, joining me today in the DT Digdy boardroom, we have Andrew Safecrack Henderson, Kyle Count the Balls Harper, and Matt Milk the Cow Cole, as they answer the question, what game should be relaunched on Switch 2 using these new system features? Hey, do you guys remember those games?
Yeah, those
You
are
guys
all
remember
things
those
you can
games?
do in 1-2 Switch.
Oh, okay. I was gonna guess this was a WiiWare roundup.
I have never played 1-2 Switch.
Really?
Yeah.
no,
No.
me neither.
These were 2 of the best and 1 of the weirdest.
Yeah, that's both of those
I'll
things are
let you
true.
choose which is which.
This is not an original opinion. I still stand by 1-2 Switch should have been bundled, pre-installed on the
absolutely.
Switch. Like
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah,
game,
who paid for that?
whatever game they're not
Yeah,
doing
that.
it for the
Matt-
Switch
Matt the
too.
Nintendo boy Cole.
Yeah,
Matt,
exactly.
the Nintendo boy.
Yeah, the Matt the real Nintendo fan. Real quick, Count the Balls was a awesome. Like so
yeah.
if you didn't have this game, did any of you play these games other than Matt?
No.
Yeah, so like you would hold the Joy-Con and you'd like tilt it around and it had tactile feedback as though there were marbles.
Yeah,
in
it was
there.
like the HD tactile feedback, whatever that was actually called.
Yeah.
HD Rumble.
HD Rumble. And like great tech demo.
Yeah.
Wish we would have
Should've
gotten
been boxed
HD
in.
Rumble on any other game.
Yeah.
And Milk the Cow was a crime. That was a tough one.
Yep.
Then why'd you play it so much, Todd?
Because, well, you know who I was and how I choose to live. That's not about this. Anyway, we're getting into it. Starting it off here, just tell me high level. What? Oh, Andrew looked at Milk the
Andrew
Cow.
found Milk
Andrew's
the
got
Cow.
a face that says
I'm
I looked at
watching
Milk the Cow.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's
Maybe we'll play this on a
never
live
see
stream
that.
at some point. We'll get it figured out. High level here, starting off easy. What game are you relaunching? Just tell us a little bit about the game that you think is going to be great with these new innovative features on Switch 2. We'll start with Andrew.
Yeah, so I'm happy to announce. So back in the NES era, Nintendo released a game called Fire Emblem. No, I wish I wish I would have thought of Fire Emblem. I'm so mad.
Me saying RTS and Kyle saying new Fire Emblem locked Andrew the fuck in.
God, just injected into my veins. No, I have a dumb thing. So great news, guys. Let's start the bit. 2017's Twitch streamer staple, Getting Over It with Bennet Foddy, is now coming to Switch 2.
Perfect.
Now, for anyone not laughing who is unfamiliar, Getting Over It with Bennet Foddy is a simple platforming game created, development, directed, and narrated by the titular Bennet Foddy.
Oh.
Bennet Foddy of QWOP fame, if you are any big QWOP
That
fans
makes
out
a
there.
lot of sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
And real quick, this came out in 2017.
Yeah, it's been 10 million years.
Sucks, right?
Oh my god. you could have convinced me that QWOP came out in like 2015.
I was playing QWOP in my high school computer
Yeah,
lab.
man.
I was
I know
playing
that QWOP's
QWOP in high school for sure.
Yeah.
I would have believed that. I do not believe that Getting Over It with Bennet Foddy came out almost 10
That
years
fucked
ago.
me up.
8 years
that fucked
ago.
me up real
Incredible.
hard. And when you think about the trajectory of this game, I mean, it really defined the genre known as rage bait.
Yeah.
Streamer rage bait specifically.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this was one of the. I feel like this was one of after FNAF. This is one of the like marquee. This game exists for streamers subgenre of games. If you know
Yeah.
what I mean.
I agree with that.
Anyway, the premise is you play as this dumpy guy who is stuck inside a large black cauldron from the torso down. And you got to climb to the top of a series of these physically impossible structures using only a sledgehammer with like a pick on the end on the other side. Now, how does one climb to actual space with only a sledgehammer, you might ask? Well, that's where the game's notorious difficulty comes in, because you have to guide Diogenes. That's correct. He is named after the poet Diogenes. This is the Cauldron Man. You got to guide him up this escalating vertical maze of like floating trash and random shit by controlling the sledgehammer. So you don't control the man, your mouse actually controls the direction of the sledgehammer. And you use the mouse to swing it, and then you'll like grab a ledge, and then you kind of jolt the mouse down so that you can prop yourself up, and you use the momentum to leap up and basically continue to climb up.
Specifically designed to be as frustrating as possible. Yes.
The fun easiness of it goes away very quickly.
Yeah, it is specifically designed to make your butt clench and to make you curse a lot out loud. Surgeon Simulator walked, so getting over it could run or climb terribly.
I really thought you would have QWOP walked.
QWOP didn't walk is the problem.
Yeah.
QWOP scooted along.
QWOP's
would
knees
disagree.
gave out so that Surgeon Simulator could walk, so that Getting Over It could climb.
If you've watched what I can only describe as speed running QWOP, I would disagree.
Oh yeah, it's very fun. I would agree with you on that. So now, guys, with the Switch 2's new Joy-Con mouse functionality, you'll be able to experience the frustration and rage of watching this little idiot in a big pot as he jettisons himself off a wall because your hand slipped, causing you to lose the last 45 minutes of the most excruciating focus of your life, just as thousands of PC players and streamers have before you.
I can't wait to be mad. I can't wait to be mad online. It's
so
looking for.
infrequent.
Yeah. Totally new experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of a fresh take.
Yeah, pumped to find new things to be mad about. That's great. Let's go ahead and jump over to Kyle.
Yeah, guys. So my recommendation is a classic from 2010. It's the first iOS game to run on Unreal Engine 3. I'm talking about Infinity Blade. Did anyone play Infinity Blade?
I've never heard of this
I've
game.
never heard
Good.
of this game.
Off to
Excellent.
Google I go.
Oh boy.
It is a touch control, like hack and slash RPG.
Oh.
Is this the one with the big boobed robot that came out like 2 years ago?
No,
Got to be more
last year.
specific.
2010.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this came out in 2010 and it's had 2 sequels. It's an Epic Games game that they call it the spiritual successor slash mashup to like Prince of Persia and Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh,
Huh.
Those big names.
Yeah.
First person sword combat by using your iPhone touchscreen, but you're wandering through this empty castle until you find a big, scary sword-wielding enemy to fight, and you fight them. And then when you kill them, you get their sword or their armor, and you carry on through this deserted castle/ruins until you find another one, until you kill the God King and ascend your bloodline to godhood is the plot there.
It's like mobile game Skyward Sword.
It's like mobile game Skyward Sword, exactly.
Whoa.
Andrew.
Huh.
So I killed a lot of hours in college slashing at these alien god monsters. We're bringing it back on the Switch too. It's time. The people are ready.
The people are ready. A lot of people are talking about searches notes Infinity Blade.
Yeah, I've never heard of this game. What I love is that you've taken a game that would be make so much more sense for motion controls.
You would
and
think,
have waited for until 20 years later when we're finally done with motion controls, and then said let's do this not with motion controls but with a mouse.
Yeah.
well,
I like this.
and a magic eye.
Yeah, so you can see yourself
Magic
doing it.
Eye.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, it's great.
Listen, us blade heads are pumped for what you're bringing here today, Kyle.
Yeah.
That's a great start.
the Infinity Blade community is clamoring for
more content.
Was anyone else trying to combine the word infinity and community just then? Because I couldn't.
No. You said blade heads, and I started thinking about Doug Marcaida.
That's the thing, Cap. I'm always thinking about Doug Marcaida. Yeah, Matt, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, absolutely. Todd, the Nintendo Switch has an impressive history of porting PC games over to its console. I remember spending
Sorry,
time
is that a joke?
online with friends playing Among Us during the first pandemic winter. Others have presumably spent hours exploring a digital world while taking their Switch on the go and exploring a real world ever since No Man's Sky came to the Switch in 2022. And of course,
Did not know that was a thing.
I didn't either.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the, at time of recording, 2,375 hours I've logged on the mega hit hero shooter Overwatch 2 since it came to the Switch in brilliant 720p at 30 frames per second in 2019.
Matt, I don't need to tell you this, but
Whoa.
you're 1 day's worth of playing away from 1,000 days of play of Overwatch.
Important question I need to know right now.
Hit me.
When Overwatch went to Overwatch 2, did that counter reset or no?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that it didn't.
Okay.
I could be wrong. And I'm not going to investigate to find out if I am.
It's
I
best
think
to
that's
not
an
look
answer
in
that
to
nobody.
find
Yeah,
truth.
that is a stone that needs to be left unturned.
Yeah.
Because if that is the case, 2,375 is about 30%, and that's not good. So,
30% of what?
of the total time that I've been playing, because I've had it on Switch for 60% Overwatch 1, 30% Overwatch 2. Anyway, look, what's important is we're excited to bring another PC mega hit, super popular game to the Nintendo Switch. And that game is, of course, 1990s Microsoft Minesweeper, or as most people just know it, Minesweeper. In our new game coming to the Switch, Minesweeper Together.
Okay.
You sure, man?
I did not think of Minesweeper as having a release date.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
I
always
think that's-
existed.
Minesweeper
Yeah.
has always been. Minesweeper will always be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the most jarring, I think.
Yeah. And to know I'm as old as Minesweeper and I were released in the same
same age.
year, you could say.
Yeah.
Is even more wild.
Note that I said Microsoft Minesweeper because, like many old games, who invented this is very contentious. That's the word I'm looking
Yeah.
for. People can't agree on who made Minesweeper, but the Microsoft version launched in 90.
Matt,
Okay.
before I think this is fun. I'm excited. But
Yeah.
before we leave to go to prompt 2, I want to talk about this 2,375 hours number again.
Do we have to?
Todd
we do.
is concerned.
Yeah, I've turned off the PowerPoint presentations you're giving, and I'm now sitting across the table from you with my chair backwards. Would you say, Matt, you watch a lot of like video content throughout the day, you consume video content.
Uh-huh.
How many hours per day or week, whichever number makes you feel better, would you say are consumed by you watching Overwatch content?
Oh man.
Yeah, that number's a little.
Now, so here's the thing. It's hard because you have to add the time that you're watching Overwatch while playing Overwatch.
It is
those
exponential.
can't overlap.
I gotta say, the amount of time that I spend playing Overwatch on one monitor while watching a stream of Overwatch on another monitor is most.
Matt, do you dream in Overwatch?
Only sometimes.
Do Matt's dream of electric Winstons?
It isn't as bad as like for a while. There's a game called the Tetris Effect, but there is an actual physical response called the Tetris Effect where you close your eyes and you see Tetris shapes falling. And I very much got that from Guitar Hero back in the day. And nothing has infested my brain quite that way.
In your Guitar Hero touring Guitar Hero phase.
Shh. We don't need to do this. We don't need to do this.
Yeah, we gotta say that.
Yeah, in a day, I would say there's like at least 2 to 4 hours of visually consuming Overwatch content without a controller or controls in hand. That's the answer to your question, Todd. What else do you have to say? That's what you wanted. I gave you what you wanted.
I don't know what I wanted, Matt. I'm searching for truth and knowledge, and I found something.
Matt, if we all invite you to an unnamed event, show up to it.
Yeah.
Don't question it. Just show up. We all care and love.
We just
care about you and love you.
I just opened my Battle.net account to see if I could find a total played hours across console on Overwatch.
It's best to not find the answers to some questions. Moving on. So you've explained your games, given us a little bit of taste. Hey, that's three different games. A lot of fun going on here, I think. What specifically of the Switch 2 new features will your game be utilizing? You know, we talked about how there's going to be dueling mice. Is that how you pluralize the computer mouse?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was like a special thing, but yeah.
Mouses is always wrong.
That's perfect. Love that.
Mises is right if you're watching the holiday hit.
You're talking about
Muppets
cheeses.
Christmas Carol.
Yeah, if you're talking about cheeses, Mises is correct. So what new Switch 2 features will your game be using? Just give us a little taste. Describe how that's going to work.
Sure. So Todd, until the development of the Switch 2 Joy-Con's mouse functionality, the Foddy heads out there had been restricted to playing their favorite Foddy title exclusively on PC.
What are maybe some of the other Foddy titles that aren't the favorite? So Getting Over It,
don't have time.
QWOP. Oh, okay.
There's the one that you have to press letters to climb. I don't remember
QWOP,
what that one was called.
But different. Yeah.
It's QWOP, but different. Mm-hmm. Chained Together is not a Bennet Foddy title, but it's definitely like a spiritual successor.
A Bennet Foddy like.
It's a Foddy like. Yep. I'm sure that some gaming journalist has used that term before unironically.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I say exclusively on PC, again, this is like no Steam Deck, just like commando stuck in front of a keyboard and mouse on your computer chair in front of your work monitor. I assume everyone plays PC games like me in their office. So now you can take the dulcet tones of Bennet Foddy with you on the go. Great. The Switch 2 version of Getting Over It with Bennet Foddy will have you using the Joy-Con's mouse function to control your Potman sledgehammer just as you are on a PC. But now we have the added complexity of dealing with the restrained space that you're likely dealing with, given how absolutely infrequent it is to have a large flat surface in front of your TV that is even half as good and ergonomical as a desk.
Yeah, man.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm imagining like you're playing Getting Over It with Bennet Foddy.
Yep.
On your coffee table.
On your coffee table, sitting on the floor, crisscross applesauce.
Yeah.
GURP is the climbing game, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes, it is.
Thank you for GURP. Now also,
was that sentence? Thank you for the GURP.
Thank you for the GURP. Yeah.
And also with you.
Now, the other thing that we haven't mentioned yet that I think we all know but we haven't said is like Joy-Cons, right? The Joy-Con signal is wireless. Given motion control's spotty past, I have to assume that the signal for this mouse is going to be good and not great.
Yeah.
It will never be better than the $15 Logitech mouse that I have plugged into my computer.
That's the thing is like wireless is always going to have
It's always fine.
It's always going to have that
You're always gonna have to sync
millisecond
the Guitar
of
Hero
delay
controller.
Yep.
you can get it out of by just using a wire instead. But
Yep.
damn it, we're going to try.
Damn it, we're going to try. Now, guys, this isn't just a simple port of an 8-year-old game. That would be lazy. No, we're going to feature another one of the Switch 2's new tech to bring an entirely new element here to getting over it with Bennet Foddy. Now, the Switch 2's game chat feature, previously referred to as the iToy feature, this allows for an entirely new level of depth and immersion. Using the game chat, players can start a new game by first taking captures of their face from several angles to craft a digital avatar of themselves to slap onto that Potman character model. Now you can watch as you yourself try to climb up this mess of junk while trapped in a black pot from the torso down. But game chat doesn't end there, guys. Getting over it with Bennet Foddy is all about perseverance and overcoming challenges, but it's also about finding your inner calm while facing those insurmountable odds. And so this is where game chat is really going to immerse a whole new series of Foddy heads. Getting over it with Bennet Foddy for the Switch 2 will record your facial expressions and your body language to gauge your overall frustration. As your frustration and your tension builds, your character's movements will represent that. They're going to be more and more erratic to simulate the immense pressure of trying to scale a mountain with only a sledgehammer while trapped inside of a pot from the torso down. So you're going to want to make sure to stay calm as you slowly and methodically progress up the structures so your character doesn't accidentally choke and slip.
I love, first off, that you chose of everything to superimpose the gamer's face on the character, because every version of that from every game ever that has
Sucks.
such better processing than a Switch 2 is
Suck shit.
ass.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. Like
Yeah.
the last 3 WWE games have just basically been pushed on
Yeah,
a
they look
career
like
mode
paper
and then
dolls.
putting your face in.
Yeah.
This is gonna be great.
Just absolute ass.
Yeah, man. I'm also stuck on, like, as your character gets more frustrated, like they get a furrowed brow.
Yeah, well, they get a furrowed brow and they don't respond to your movements. So like, even if you're like very methodical, the man could slip his grip, even though that you didn't,
That's
because you're frustrated.
Does anyone remember the whatever basketball game it was in the Kinect era that like you would get a technical foul if you cussed while playing this basketball game? If the Kinect microphone picked up you doing a cuss, you'd get a technical
That's
in the
good.
game.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here. So if you're sitting here like fuck, Bennet Foddy's gonna make you
He's
pay.
gonna stop listening to you.
You can't say the fuck word. Not with Bennet Foddy. Bennet Foddy runs a tight ship.
He sure does.
Awesome. Listen, you've taken rage bait and you've made it even rage baitier.
Rage baitier. Because again, the point of these games is not to play them. The point of these games is to watch your favorite streamer get upset while they're playing them.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
That's great. I love that. Hey, listen, more angry streamers. Those are good views. Kyle.
Yeah, Todd. So, like I said before, Infinity Blade was a touch-controlled hack and slasher combat game. And we're going to mostly keep it the same, except with the mouse, it's going to play closer to like maybe a rhythm precision clicker game, like an OSU or maybe even like a trombone champ, something like that, where you've got to click, the spots in time to successfully attack, dodge, parry, et cetera, and then once you open up that vulnerability or like send your opponent reeling a bit, then you can just like hold the button and slash away with your mouse. However, with the the Switch chat? Was that what
Game
this
chat.
was? Game chat.
An
With the game
incredibly vague and generic title, yes.
Well, they didn't use it on their first app for chatting, so they had to use it now.
Yes. We're going to use the game chat in 2 ways, Todd. One, that camera is going to pick up not the player. We're not going to put the player's face in the game. That's been done by lesser games, and we all see how that has played out. Not necessarily commentating on what Andrew's answer was, just saying. However, what we are going to do is it is going to monitor the background of the player and add challenges or rewards or things like that if a new element enters the environment you're playing in. So if you're sitting at home, clicking some bad guys, slashing some alien gods to conquer, and your cat walks into frame, well, maybe your next boss fight will be a cat alien god. Or if it hears your wife or neighbor shouting something from the next room, that might be morphed into a battle cry of some sort for our next encounter. Who knows? And then the other thing, Todd, is we will have a casual mode where you play with your body as the controller. You play Kinect hack and slasher. You swing your arms around and slash in a way more similar to the touchscreen game, less precision clicker and more like make a chop down diagonal right, slash up center, etc., etc.
I can't overstate how you're just doing the Wii again.
Yeah.
How are you just doing the Wii again?
I don't think so. I don't think I am, Andrew. It's completely different.
This feels different. Title game and cult favorite classic Seaman wasn't on the Wii, and it could repeat your words back to you. So Kyle's onto something.
Yeah.
Those aren't legs I would try and stand on, but Kyle's onto something.
I'm standing
I don't like
on
that
them.
you. I don't like that you purposefully mispronounced
evoked-
the game Seaman.
You
Yeah.
evoked Seaman.
Plural.
Yeah.
It's multiple games. Anyway, yeah, I see what Kyle's doing here. It's good.
So you remember when you played Skyward Sword, and every time you were so stoked to like stand up and slash
I was
the
gonna
sword,
wait to bring that
and
up.
you definitely weren't limp arming like while you were like laying down on your couch.
Well, this is a mouse.
That's great.
Andrew. You're going to be
It's
on a
different.
flat
You're gonna be
surface.
you're gonna be sitting
precision.
Christmas applesauce
Can't
on
lay on your
by
side and do it.
your coffee table. Yeah.
Out of the bet, I never played Skyward Sword. I played it through all of my friends, but I remember Andrew, you being the first one that was like, yeah, I played it standing up for an hour, and then I laid down on my couch and just flicked my wrist.
Yeah, the absolute bare minimum after it was a novelty one time.
Anyway, speaking of things that aren't novelty, talking about 1990s Microsoft's Minesweeper, Matt.
Yeah, 100%. So 1990s Microsoft Minesweeper. We've all played it, I assume. Everybody's done a Minesweep in their day. And it would be an incredibly unfun Minesweeper experience to have to use like a D-pad or a control stick to number your way through a grid. I mean, it's like typing on an in-console keyboard that you have to navigate with a controller. It's just not a realistic way to play the game. So mouse controls obviously are going to allow players to maneuver a selector, a mouse, I guess.
Cursor.
A cursor. Thank you. I like that word. Well, Kyle's game, you can't swear a cursor, so this is a different thing.
That's Andrew's game. You can't swear a
exactly.
cursor.
Mine, yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle's, you specifically can swear.
Yeah, it'll put
might
it into
become
the
a
game.
boss. Yeah.
It'll repeat it back to
Yeah.
you.
So anyway, you can navigate a cursor. You can play Minesweeper with the mouse controls. What we are really excited about is game chat and the Nintendo legally distinct version of the iToy that we've created. And that is what takes our game from regular ass Minesweeper to Minesweeper together, because we are adding what everyone has wanted in Minesweeper for 35 years, a multiplayer mode, right? That's awesome. Multiplayer Minesweeper. It's what everybody wanted. So
Ranked
this is going to
Minesweeper.
open up a lot of things, because there's actually a huge competitive scene around Minesweeper. I learned today.
Now,
And
is this a bit or is this real?
This is
is
so
real.
you coded, Matt.
this is so real. And just like we learned about T-spinning in Tetris, there's a move called the 1.5 click in Minesweeper that people use to be competitive. I didn't expect to find this today, but it's real.
Absolutely looking up
I
competitive
said
Minesweeper.
competitive ranked Minesweeper as a joke, and as it was leaving my lips, I knew it was not a joke and a very
Yeah.
real thing.
the
Like,
monkey's paw wish you made, Kyle.
It's even got a Roblox.
So, with multiplayer, it's going to open up not only to that competitive market, but to casual players as well, because we are going to increase the connectivity you can have with other people playing in two distinct modes. We have cooperative mode, which showcased, just like in all of the other Nintendo Direct things, you and your friends can just all work on the same Minesweeper board and everybody gets their little Zoom profile and that's fine or whatever. But we have also added asynchronous 3v1 multiplayer to Minesweeper, where you will be the sweeper and your 3 friends will be the mines. And here's the thing, we're going to hide their little Zoom picture under the
Just
squares.
Battleship.
So you got to click around and find your friends'
It's
faces.
just Battleship.
It's
You
definitely
invented
not Battleship. It's Minesweeper. I would argue that Minesweeper and Battleship are the same thing, but
Fair.
there's a little bit more math in Minesweeper. And as you are playing as the one, perhaps you are able to cordon off some of your friends so they can't switch to be other mines, because it works kind of like, prop hunt or hide and seek. And your goal will be to find your friends hidden as mines, and you'll click their picture and they'll pop up, and then they can help you find other people. It's awesome. It's Minesweeper together.
Listeners at home, I want to elaborate and note that I looked up championship, February's Minesweeper championship, and it took less time for this person to clear the board than it did to Matt to give that diatribe.
Yeah. The stat that I found is like the current record to quote unquote complete a run of Minesweeper is like 35 seconds or something. Crazy.
Incredible.
Like that.
Andrew, are you more likely to get into competitive Excel or competitive Minesweeper?
Learning curve is probably easier on Minesweeper.
That's true. I don't like Minesweeper. I've never liked
You're
Minesweeper.
not a Minesweeper head?
I'm not a Minesweeper head. That's for Matt.
He's not one of the
So, yeah.
Sweepies.
I was going to say Sweepies.
Yeah, Sweepies is the answer, yeah.
We can talk at length about competitive Excel and Minesweeper in the post show, because boy, do I want to. But we're going to move on. These are 3 honestly not terrible options. Like, I don't hate what we have here today. I do want to take a pause just for a second here. Matt, I love your closing of "it's fun." It's fun. That is how you know that we've got a good game, when the person selling it repeats multiple times in the closing of their point that it's fun.
I'm pretty sure that is what they did in the Nintendo Direct with the Nintendo Switch 2 welcome party or whatever. I'm pretty sure it was just a Nintendo guy saying, "It's fun."
It's fun.
It's fun.
So, third question we've got here today. We talked about the Nintendo Direct at length, and so let's lean into that. How are we going to build that good hype for your game? Give me just a description, a little taste of what that Nintendo Direct announcement of your relaunched game looks like that's going to build some of that hype for us.
Sure. So let me immerse you into this by just acting out the Nintendo Direct segment, because we've all seen a million Nintendo Directs at this time. We get the cadence, right? So here we go. A man with dreams of going to space climbs for his life up a near infinite mountain of rock and junk, armed with a sledgehammer. In Getting Over It with Bennet Foddy, your job is to climb a mountain by launching yourself up and up past the clouds. Use the Switch 2 Joy-Con's new mouse mode to swing your hammer and deftly navigate yourself up a series of increasingly difficult obstacles. Take your game even further with Nintendo Game Chat. In this brand new edition, your facial expressions and your voice will be recorded and will be accurately reflected in your in-game character. Maintain your composure and don't succumb to frustration or anxiety. Otherwise, you may find yourself slipping up on a critical ledge. Get over it all over again when Getting Over It with Bennet Foddy Apex Edition launches exclusively on Nintendo Switch 2. And then we cut to the 3 awkward-looking Nintendo executives who are translated from their native Japanese. That's right, Foddy fam. For 8 years, PC gamers and streamers alike have shared the joys and frustrations that make up the journey that is Getting Over It with Bennet Foddy. And now a whole new generation can experience the journey when Getting Over It with Bennet Foddy Apex Edition releases exclusively for Nintendo Switch 2. They always hold up the 2 in there while they're delivering it. Players around the world have spent countless hours scaling their own mountains with the soothing voice of Bennet Foddy in their ears, subtly cheering them on. That's why we're happy to announce that we've also brought developer and creator Bennet Foddy on to re-record an entirely new series of narrations for the Nintendo Switch players to enjoy. As you heard in the trailer, Getting Over It with Bennet Foddy Apex Edition will gauge players' mental state with the all-new Nintendo Game Chat. Just as he did in the original, Bennet will be in your ear the whole time, talking you through your climb. But now, Bennett's dialogue will change based on the temperament measured through Game Chat. If you appear frustrated or tense, or are rushing because of impatience, Bennet will slightly remind you to slow down and make sure all your movements are intentional and precise. We can't wait for a whole new generation of Switch 2 players to climb their own mountains. Getting Over It with Bennet Foddy Apex Edition will launch day and date alongside Nintendo Switch 2, so please look forward to it. I did the snap noise that didn't come out in the recording.
That's
It'll come through in the recording, just not in the Zoom call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zoom doesn't like those snaps, but
you get it.
We got it.
I'm thinking about, so I've played this game or games like it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the narrator telling me to calm down.
Yeah, infuriating. Fucking infuriating. That's absolutely the most cursed part about this.
I would put my fist through. I would break my Switch 2 over my knee.
I would throw my Joy-Cons into the TV, which Wii style.
Yeah.
Does anyone remember that? I don't remember if the Wii did it. The Wii U did it. Reminds you to take and the Switch did it.
Yep.
Reminds you to take a break because you've been playing too long to rest your eyes.
That was the year of Luigi era of Nintendo when every mainline game had remember to take breaks every 45 minutes.
And I'm imagining that where if the game senses your frustration is so high, it blacks out the screen. The Switch 2 takes over the game. Is like, you should consider taking a break to calm down. And Todd launching his Switch 2 into the street because of that.
The new high def mouse connector has a heart rate monitor. It's like your resting heart rate is 160 BPMs.
Yeah.
The Switch 2 will turn off for 10 minutes.
It is before that sentence finishes that the Switch 2 is successfely lodged in a
airborne
wall across the room. Yeah.
It is the perfect encapsulation of that moment that I know every single one of us has had when we're shouting and cursing at a game and our partners so lovingly say, "Hey, it's just a game."
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oof.
Having only in good intentions. But
Yeah. Or when you're trying to articulate why it's not just a game, just you yourself, you're now realizing it is just a game.
When you start digging in,
Yeah, exactly.
Made worse by games nowadays that so if you play Hades 2, the boss of Hades 2 is Kronos. And if you try and fight, if you try and pause during the fight with Kronos, it doesn't let you pause because he's the god of time.
Really? That's so cool.
That rules.
Yeah, so no, it doesn't though. It sucks in the moment.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's very, very good. You painted a tapestry with your words, Andrew.
Thank you.
Kyle, what is this release? How do we get the hype up?
You know what everyone loves, Todd, as evidenced by everything coming out in 2025. It's when one IP is in another IP. And that's what we're going to do to build hype. Do you know what Nintendo has, Todd? An entire franchise of sword-wielding anime characters. So the first thing we are going to do to build hype at this Nintendo Direct is straight up just announce, hey, all the legendary swords from Fire Emblem, you can unlock those in-game and kill God with the power of precision clicking with your favorite Fire Emblem anime sword.
I can't believe you've done this.
And then, Todd, in our actual play footage that we show, we are going to have our special Nintendo exclusive boss fights show up. Players will be able to fight Ganondorf from Legend of Zelda, Link from Legend of Zelda, so forth and so on. Those are the only two
other characters that use swords.
The only characters I know from Legend of Zelda. No, you're gonna be able to get the Master Sword and fight Ganondorf and do all of the fun things with the power of precision clicking and waving your arms around like a maniac in your living room. We'll sell 1 billion copies.
I'm so mad because I know that if I saw that I could play this game for $4.99, get a Falchion skin, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yep.
And That makes me look inward, and I don't like that you've made me do that today.
You don't like what you see when you do that?
Yeah.
I feel like any game that cross promotes, I mean, look at Soul Calibur when they're like, buy the Nintendo One, play as Link. And everyone's like,
Easy.
We don't play side scrolling fighting games on, that one we will. That's the one. We'll play that one.
We will play that one.
Yeah, I love that. What about you, Matt?
Yeah. So, Andrew, I got to give you credit. I think what you did there as a Nintendo Direct video was perfect. That is so incredibly on par for a Nintendo Direct release. And what I'm about to do will not be as eloquent because I didn't pre-write it, but I want you to imagine that it is just as good as what Andrew did as far as accuracy.
So you want me to lead you in with the jingle?
Yeah, that'd be great. Do you mind?
Okay, just tell me when you're ready.
Yeah, go for it. Black screen, fade up, animated world. We're unsure of what the IP is. A me appears, and it gets the little wee walking noise, like blop, 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 and a little exclamation point appears above his head. And then all of a sudden, boom! We explode a me with a bomb. And then from underneath that bomb, a second me pops up with a laughing face. And then title card, Minesweeper together. And then we're going to go through the gameplay of what it looks like to play Minesweeper together. And we're going to say it with that emphasis every time. And so the people at home who can't see the video know I am doing the number 2 every time I say together.
Matt's not just giving us a number 2. He's like throwing the peace sign at the camera.
Yeah, exactly. This Zoom call's in 3D. So we're going to play our nice little teaser trailer. We're going to show some of the different skins that you can overlay on the board. Like Kyle said, the people love IPs in IPs. So there will be plenty of other Nintendo products and skins that you can use as an overlay for, of course, a small fee if you would like to pay that. And we will then go into a narration saying, since 1990, Minesweeper has been a first hand-on game experience for many young gamers. And we are excited to bring the first port of Minesweeper ever to Nintendo Switch 2 with Minesweeper together. And you'll be able to play with friends using Nintendo's game chat. And then they'll show that like same little game chat bit that they show in all the trailers. And then it'll say Minesweeper together coming to Nintendo Switch 2 date time. And
Probably
that's
has
pretty much
2
it.
in it.
Yeah.
Probably is doing it.
Probably has 2 in it.
Probably has 2 in it.
Probably has 2 in it. I love that. I think my favorite part is for the life of me, cannot remember what the Nintendo Direct music sounds like. And every time Andrew does it, it's different enough that I'm still not sure. All I can think of is the Wii Sports Resort music, and that is not it.
Everyone hears different Nintendo Direct music, Todd. It reflects what is in your heart back at you.
Like everyone's concept of the sky being blue is their own interpretation of what blue actually is.
Exactly.
No, it's like when you go to the Dark World and Link to the Past. You are the reflection of inside of your heart.
Yeah.
Those were all very different examples.
The Nintendo Direct sound is what is the reflection inside your heart?
Maybe if you were the Nintendo guy, Matt, you would have gotten it. High five.
Oh, man, that was too brutal. I do love that. Right, this is good. This is good and fun, and actually, I like all of these. But before I make any sort of decision, and before we have any statements, I do have one last question for you. Here's the thing. Outside of the bit, the pre-release for Switch 2 has been pushed back, and honestly, the money we are getting line is precariously red. And we need to ensure that the money that we get line stays in the black. And so, since science has decided that the only surefire way to generate income for games is a subscription service, I need to know, what is the subscription service for your game? What is the battle pass? What is that? How are we going to get people hooked on playing your game just for, quote, seasons and for years to come? And we'll take those answers when we get back from the break.
Movies.
And TV shows.
So much content, so little time. Who could ever watch it all?
Not us, so we're just guessing. On Happenstance,
The Anti-Film Bro podcast, where two comedy gals,
aka us,
give our stance on what happens in a TV show or movie we haven't seen.
we guess plots of the content that has shaped our world.
From Flubber and The Godfather to Chinatown and Madam Web.
And at the end, we reveal how our plot stacks up to the real thing.
And ours is usually right.
Or better. We've been called funnier than all of the other top comedy podcasts by some random guy in our YouTube comments.
So check us out and see if he's right.
Happenstance with Joe and Sam. New episodes out Tuesdays.
All right, and we're back. Question stands, numbers in the red. We need numbers in the black. How do you get people hooked to paying for this game over and over and over again into the future with some sort of subscription or battle pass? Start with Andrew.
Todd, the answer is easy. It's 2 words. Skins and seasons. Skins and seasons, baby. That combination of those 2 things are going to make us that good Blizzard money. Every 3 months, it's a new season. Boom. It's winter out. Snow on the ledges. Great. Done. It's spring. I don't know. Cherry blossoms for a month. Fuck you. Every season, it's basically the same level, but we'll say that they're different. We'll just randomly generate like the same assets and kind of just shift them around using AI. On top of that, every season, it's a new set of skins. We have that technology already, so we can just get a couple captures of Ariana Grande. Boom. You want to play as Ariana Grande stuck in a pot, torso up? Now you can. You want to play as Homer Simpson stuck in a black cauldron from the torso down? Now you can. You want to be Goku climbing up a mountain stuck in a pot from the torso down? Now you can.
Feels like we just spiraled into a Fortnite.
Does kind of feel like Fortnite.
I don't know what you expected.
Yeah, I mean, it's all these answers
This
are
is-
Fortnite. It's skins and seasons is really the yeah.
This is the dead dove don't eat of,
yeah.
of this question.
Yeah, Skins and Seasons was an Xbox exclusive volleyball game that released, I thought.
I was
yeah,
going to say it was my
different.
least favorite time in gym class. Yeah, you got it.
Even better. Kyle.
Yeah, Todd. It's skins and seasons.
It's skins and seasons.
So it is skins. What we are doing though, Todd, is we are going to, with the introduction of the Infinite Blade Battle Pass, the Infinite Pass as we will call it, we will also be introducing competitive PvP Infinite Blade. You will fight other players in your precision clicking sword fighting game. Because you are now fighting other players, you will be incentivized to unlock more swords as we add them per season to the game. More, in addition,
He's
to
trying not to say skins.
Yeah, I said skins because we're gonna Fortnite it, and you'll be able to sword fight Peter Griffin or the giant chicken or any other IP that will happily sell its rights to those who come knocking. So yeah, competitive infinite blade, more swords. Don't you want to kill God with the Halo sword, Todd, or the finger sword from Assassin's Creed, or whatever? It's all gonna be in there, Todd, because it's all the slop has mixed together from now until the end of time.
I would like to pitch a side project that is Kyle names video game swords.
My favorite thing. So I recently, because I hate myself, watched the Assassin's Creed movie.
Ugh,
And
that's a rough one.
That is a rough one.
My favorite moment is when they tell Fassbender's character, "You'll now have the power of the finger sword. Wield it responsibly."
What is it called? Does it?
It's just the Assassin's Blade. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure. Like,
Oh, that's what you were talking
finger sword.
about.
Yeah. You cut your
where
finger off, so
you
the
cut your
sword
finger out so the
Yeah.
sword
yeah,
pops
man,
out.
okay.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Okay.
Michael Fassbender going, "Oh, you trust me with the finger sword, the finger blade?" That's awesome. Matt.
Yeah, Todd, I don't want to bury the lead here. We're doing skins and seasons. But here's the thing. Something a little bit different about what we're doing with Minesweeper Together is that Minesweeper Together is going to be a free-to-play game. And that's because, here's something else I learned about Minesweeper today. In 2000, it was proven that Minesweeper is actually NP complete. I don't know what that means, but what Wikipedia told me is that is something in computational complexity that basically says it's a complete system and has a limited number of solutions, which means regular Microsoft Minesweeper can only have so many answers. But with Minesweeper Together Forever Edition, you, my friend, can get new boards in new shapes with unknown combinations every season. And of course, you will be able to reskin those games, overlay perhaps your Animal Crossing village, perhaps your Tomodachi village, perhaps your other life sim game that Nintendo is making, Village, to play Harvest Moon, Minesweeper Together Forever Edition.
I love that your answer is a Sudoku subscription. like there are people out there that are absolutely paying monthly subscriptions for Sudoku somewhere. And that is,
we're not talking about Sudoku.
No,
today.
I know, but that's the comparison I drew in my head.
Yeah.
I love that. You know, I've got to take these three options back to the DT Digby group. And so if you could, a closing statement, a final pitch as to why your game should be the paramount new release for the Switch 2.
I am going to close my argument by just reading a couple quotes that are actual narrations from Bennet Foddy in the game. Now pretend I have an Australian accent, because I don't.
You want to try it? You want to try it once and then we'll see how it goes?
Throw another shrimp on the barbie.
That's pretty good. You should run with it and not look back.
Keep it going.
Oof, you lost a lot of progress. That's a deep frustration. A real punch in the gut. Ooh, sorry about that. Oh no, it happened again. Keep on trying. Don't let it get to you. This thing we call failure is not the failing down, but the staying down. And one more. The soul would have no rainbow, had the eyes no tears. I rest my case.
This fucking suck. Bennet Foddy could catch these hands. Kyle.
It's easy, Todd. We're putting anime swords in a game and charging real world money for them. We're going to be millionaires. At the very least, we're going to pay off all our student loans.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, Todd, I'll leave you with this simple tagline. The Peepies are Sweepies, and without Sweepies, they'll be weepy. That's it. That's all I got.
The fuck?
All right, Todd, you take this and run with it.
Yeah. I don't know if we've ever had a cold open just be someone's closing statement, but I feel like Matt's right there is prime to let the listeners know what they're getting into. I've got to make a fucking decision. You all say nice things to each other.
This was fun and dumb. Kyle, I hate that I liked your thing. Like, unironically, I was like, I know that it would devolve to just how it did 15 years ago with Skyward Sword, but like, there'd be an hour that would be like genuine fun.
Yeah.
My wrist would hurt so bad. Like, just so bad so quickly. Because like, you have to click.
Have any of you seen OSU, the like
yes,
the rhythm clicker game?
Fast clicking. People play it like in between other games.
No. It's a PC game. It's a rhythm clicker, and
okay, that makes me want to die.
This is the template for it.
My
know exactly
arthritis is hurting.
Yeah.
Just
people use it as their like warm up before they play PC shooters.
It's different aim trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Which, funny enough, aim trainer was one of the things on my cut list, so I like this a lot.
That's pretty good.
Good.
Yeah. No, Kyle, you did a good job because of course, just throw Fire Emblem and Legend of Zelda on there, and like I'm gonna snort it up like cocaine, like a little skin pervert with my Legend of Zelda skins. Yeah, man. Matt, you made what's the word? Asynchronous async multiplayer for Minesweeper is also really good. I know that I joked you just made Battleship, but like it's pretty fun. even if it is just Battleship, that sounds pretty fun. I mean, there's just not enough async multiplayer games out there that, anytime you see one, it's like, oh, that's a fun thing. And competitive Minesweeper, Jesus, I almost called it competitive Minecraft. Competitive Minesweeper is now a thing that I can watch. And you've given me this gift today, so I thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Andrew, I actually unironically do like the idea of getting over it being a Switch launch title. I love the you are frustrated, so the game is going to play worse feature, also unironically. And I am just imagining the first time like the game stops mid swing of that sledgehammer because your heart rate has broken 210 and the sound of a Switch crashing into a wall before the sentence is even finished of like, you might consider taking a break and doing some deep breathing exercises.
It's the Ron Swanson throwing the computer in the dumpster.
Yeah.
Matt, I love everything about bringing Minesweeper into the 21st century, making Minesweeper relevant in 2025. I love the idea of the Sudoku subscription for new maps, and competitive multiplayer Minesweeper makes me feel like I'm having a stroke. So congratulations.
Yeah, Andrew, I really unironically love the idea of a Bennet Foddy game on Switch. And I think somehow my only complaint is that it would almost be better just with the Switch gyro controls, It's like, I just love how bad this can be.
Yeah.
I do. I really like that a lot. I think it's very fun. And like Kyle said, like, when I'm playing video games, I am one gentle reminder of self-care away from self-destruction at all times. So I do really like that. Kyle, I had never heard of Infinity Blade before today. I'll probably never hear of it again after today, but I love tapping into the largely untapped mobile game market, which is a huge corner of the video game world that I don't hang out in. And I know that there's really cool stuff over there, and hearing that the Shadow of Colossus spiritual successor is an iOS game is really fun. And I like that we're doing Waggle Tech again in 2025. That's great.
So I've talked to DT Dig D, and to be clear, all three of your options can be monetized to make money. Unironically, I think there's a way to capitalize on all of these. Cannot pick all three of them. So first off, Kyle, unfortunately, we will not be selling swords at a premium. It makes total sense. We're going to steal that idea for a future game. It's just not going to be this game. We know that people will pay money cosmetic for swords out the ass.
Don't worry, Todd. We're going to take it back to mobile where it belongs and make all our money there.
Yeah.
After that, terrible news, Matt. We're not bringing Minesweeper to 2025. We are going to bundle it in as just a launch title included with the Switch 2. We just have a hard time thinking that anyone's going to pay for the monthly subscription to continue getting new maps, because no one on Earth has ever seen the end of all the normal box maps.
I don't know that you can prove that, but okay.
It's like beating Pac-Man.
Yeah, no one's ever done it.
You get the half
that
screen
means,
if you beat Pac-Man. Anyway.
That means, Andrew, we will be doing Getting Over It with Bennet Foddy and the Apex edition.
Right.
And I'll tell
Rise up, Foddy fam.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Rise up, Foddy fans. Foddy heads, get at me. The big thing here is not so much, I mean, absolutely, people are going to stream. They're going to buy it. They're going to stream it. They're going to play it. We really think the money will be made by replacement Switch 2s that people will have to buy when they snap their Switch 2 in half, or when they throw their Joy-Con at the wall. We're pumped to see that return on ROI when people break their Switch Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
We don't have to deal with stick drift anymore, but we will deal with this.
Perfect.
So with that, that's going to bring us to the end of our show. Thank you so much for listening to Debate This. You can follow along with the arguments on, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Those are places that we're at. And on our website, debatethiscast.com. And hey, have you ever hit the end of an episode like this and found yourself wondering, man, I really like Debate This 3 out of 4 Tuesdays each month, but I just wish somehow I could turn that 3 into a 4. Well, great news for you. We have the Debate This premium feed. It's available right now through our Patreon at patreon.com/debatethiscast. Subscribing at the low price of $5 a month will get you all the current and past episodes of our exclusive Patreon show, Deconstructed, where we just talked about Can of Worms. That was our most recent episode, I think, as of this recording. It's gross. Everyone should have to deal with that. And hey, subscribing to our Patreon is 75% cheaper than your standard issue battle pass. No grinding necessary.
But you also don't get anime swords, so
That's true.
That'll cost you extra.
Good point.
Until next time, I'm Todd Thomas.
I'm Andrew. Sweepies and Swifties both agree that 1989 was the best one. Henderson.
I'm Kyle. That's Minesweeps, not your sweeps. Harper.
And I'm Matt. From the creators of QWOP comes a game about an Indian pass-out tackle tag. Call it Bennet, Foddy, Shoddy, Kabaddi. Cole.
And we're saying, awesome, that's great. And we're saying, thanks for debating with us. And if you think we're wrong, you can come fight us behind the swing sets, nerds.